If your legs feel heavy on the stairs after 60, I want to show you something simple I make right here in my farmhouse kitchen that may help support stronger muscles without costing much or taking all afternoon. It's a 15-minute green skillet, sometimes called green shakshuka, and it brings together spinach, ricotta, and eggs in one pan. Those three foods are useful for a reason. Greens bring natural nitrates that support blood flow, ricotta gives your body easy-to-use protein, and eggs provide the leucine signal that tells aging muscles to get to work. Now, I'm not saying one meal fixes everything, but if you want a practical place to start, this is a mighty good one. I've spent a long time looking at old recipes and the newer research behind them, and the older I get, the less impressed I am by complicated health advice. Most of the time, the useful things are plain, affordable, and easy enough to repeat. That matters because strength is built by habits, not by one heroic meal. If you have kidney disease or you've been told to watch protein, sodium, vitamin K, or blood sugar, it's wise to check with your doctor or dietitian before making big changes. Food can support you, but it doesn't replace medical care. Now let me walk you through this farmhouse green skillet the way Ruth and I make it when we want something fast, nourishing, and satisfying. You'll only need one pan, and the whole thing is built for real life. Frozen spinach, a little ricotta, a few eggs, garlic, olive oil, and some seasoning. If you keep a bag of spinach in the freezer and a carton of eggs in the fridge, you're already most of the way there. Let's start with the spinach, because that's where a lot of the leg support comes from. Spinach and other leafy greens contain nitrates, and in the body, those nitrates can be converted into nitric oxide. That's a mouthful, but all it really means is this. Nitric oxide helps blood vessels relax and open up, which can improve blood flow. Better blood flow matters when you're climbing stairs, getting up from a chair, or walking a little farther than you used to. One study of more than 3,700 people found that those with the highest nitrate intake from leafy greens had stronger legs and faster walking speed than those who ate the least. That does not mean spinach is magic, but it does mean it deserves a place on the table. I like frozen spinach for this dish because it is concentrated and practical. Fresh spinach is lovely, but it shrinks down so much that you'd need a mountain of it to make a skillet like this. Frozen spinach has already been blanched and packed at its peak, so it's easy to keep on hand. For this recipe, use one 16-ounce bag, thawed and squeezed very dry, and I do mean squeezed dry. If you leave too much water in it, the skillet turns soupy instead of creamy. That's a common mistake, and it dulls the flavor too. Warm 1 tablespoon of olive oil in a skillet over medium heat. Add 2 cloves of sliced garlic. If you want a little extra fiber and body, you can add half a cup of rinsed canned white beans here as well. Ruth likes that version when we want it to feel more like a full lunch. Stir the garlic for about 1 minute, just until it smells sweet and fragrant. Don't burn it. Burnt garlic gets bitter in a hurry, and there's no saving that with optimism. Then add the spinach, season with salt and pepper, and stir for 2 or 3 minutes until it's heated through. This is where the pan starts smelling like dinner instead of chores. If you're using canned beans, they'll warm through with the spinach and make the dish a little heartier. That's a nice option if you want more staying power, especially at supper. Now we come to what I'd call the muscle builder in the pan, ricotta cheese. This is the part a lot of folks overlook. Ricotta is a soft cheese, and it's made in a way that leaves it with a fair amount of whey protein, which is a fast-digesting protein the body can use readily. There was a randomized clinical trial that found older adults who added ricotta daily for 12 weeks improved muscle mass and balance scores. That doesn't mean ricotta is a cure for weakness, of course, but it does suggest this humble cheese deserves more respect than it gets. Older muscles are a little more stubborn than younger ones. They need a stronger nudge to start building and repairing. That's where protein quality matters. I'm not trying to turn every meal into a laboratory, but it helps to know why certain foods are useful. Ricotta gives you a creamy texture and a good protein base without making the skillet heavy. For this recipe, use about 1 cup, which is roughly 250 grams. You can dollop it in the pan or spread it a little so it melts into little clouds. Here's a small kitchen trick. Don't stir the ricotta in completely. Leave some pockets of white and green showing. It looks rustic, and it keeps the texture interesting. You want a skillet that feels like food, not paste. When Ruth and I first tested this, we found that the creamy ricotta mellowed the spinach beautifully. Add a little black pepper here, and if you like a mild kick, a pinch of red pepper flakes later will wake it up nicely. Now for the eggs, which are the spark. I like that word because it's simple and true. Eggs don't build muscle by themselves, but they help trigger the process. They're rich in leucine, an amino acid that acts like an ignition switch for muscle protein synthesis. As we age, our muscles can become more anabolic resistant, which just means they don't respond as eagerly to protein the way they once did. So the body may need a little more of that leucine signal to get moving. Eggs are one of the easiest and most affordable ways to provide it. Crack 4 large eggs directly into 4 little wells in the spinach and ricotta mixture. Try to space them out so each egg has room. If you've got a favorite skillet with a lid, this is the perfect time for it. Cover the pan, reduce the heat to low, and let it steam for 4 to 6 minutes. The whites should set, and the yolks can stay runny if you like them that way. I often do, because the yolk makes a lovely sauce for the greens and toast. If you prefer firmer yolks, just give it another minute or two. While that steams, let me say something important. This meal is not only about protein and nitrates, it's also about making healthy eating doable. A lot of good food ideas fail because they take too long, use too many dishes, or taste like a compromise. This one doesn't. It's one pan, one short cooking session, and a meal you can actually repeat. And repetition is where the benefit lives. A single spinach skillet is nice. A spinach skillet you'll make every couple of weeks is much more useful. When the eggs are done, remove the pan from the heat. Sprinkle over a few red pepper flakes and finish with a drizzle of raw olive oil if you like. That last little bit gives the dish a fresh, almost peppery finish. Serve it right away with a slice of whole grain toast for dipping. If you have good bread, this is the place for it. The toast helps turn the meal into something complete, and it's especially nice for scooping up the yolk and ricotta together. Now, if you're wondering whether this tastes healthy, let me reassure you. It tastes like comfort food from a sensible kitchen. The spinach gets mellow, the ricotta goes creamy, the garlic gives it backbone, and the eggs bring everything together. It's rustic, not fussy. In my experience, that's the kind of meal people actually stick with. You do not need a complicated superfood bowl with 16 powders and a seminar attached. You need something good enough that you look forward to it. A few practical notes before you try it. If your spinach seems watery after thawing, squeeze it in a clean towel or press it in a fine strainer. If ricotta is all you have and it seems a little loose, that's fine. Just keep the heat gentle. If you don't eat white beans, leave them out. If you don't want spicy food, skip the red pepper flakes. And if you need more protein, you could serve this with plain yogurt on the side or a little extra ricotta on toast, though that may be more than you need for one meal. You may also hear this dish called green shakshuka. The traditional shakshuka style comes from the Middle East, where eggs are gently cooked in a seasoned sauce. This farmhouse version has traveled and changed, the way good recipes often do. In Mediterranean homes and rural kitchens, people have always used what was in season or what needed using up. That's how real food traditions survive. They are practical first. Fancy only if they have to be. If your main concern is weak legs, though, I'd encourage you to think beyond one ingredient and look at the pattern. Older adults often do better when meals include enough protein spread across the day, plus plenty of vegetables and enough calories to keep the body from running on empty. Skipping meals or eating mostly refined snacks can leave you tired and undernourished, even if you're not eating much junk. A skillet like this is a good repair meal because it gives you plant nutrients, protein, and healthy fat all at once. And there's another quiet benefit here. It's easy to digest for many people. Eggs and ricotta are soft and gentle, and the spinach is cooked down. That makes it easier for some folks than a big plate of raw salad or a heavy fried breakfast. Of course, people are different. If dairy doesn't agree with you, this may not be your best fit. If that's the case, you could try a different protein-rich breakfast, but the idea remains the same. Pair leafy greens with a quality protein and make it simple enough to repeat. I'll tell you what Ruth said the first time we had this for supper. She said, "That tastes like someone knew what they were doing." I took that as high praise. She was right, too. The garlic gave it a little edge, the ricotta made it soft and rich, and the spinach kept it from feeling too heavy. I've made many meals that were nutritious on paper and disappointing on the plate. This one is not in that category. If you want to make it ahead, you can thaw the spinach earlier in the day and keep it refrigerated. You can also slice the garlic and have the ricotta ready to go. Then, when you get hungry, the actual cooking is almost laughably quick. That's a real advantage for older folks who don't want to stand over the stove very long. Good food should fit into the rhythm of your day, not take it over. So here's the simple version to remember. Spinach brings the green leg fuel side of the meal. Ricotta brings easy protein, eggs bring the leucine spark, olive oil and garlic bring flavor, and the whole thing comes together in one skillet in about 15 minutes. That combination is what makes it useful, affordable, and worth repeating. If you're feeling that heaviness in your legs when you climb stairs, this meal is not a miracle, but it is a smart place to start. Make it once this week. See how you like it. Pay attention not only to the taste, but to whether it helps you feel better fed and more satisfied after the meal. That kind of steady nourishment is the old-fashioned way, and in my experience, old-fashioned does not mean outdated. It often means sensible. If you try this Farmhouse Green Skillet, I'd love to know what you put in it. Do you use beans, extra pepper, a different cheese, or maybe a family trick for cooking greens? Leave me a comment and tell me what part of the recipe you'd make your own. And if you want more practical meals for healthy aging, I'd be glad to have you join me here again. For now, go make one skillet, eat it while it's warm, and give your body a good chance to do its work. That's a fine place to begin.